Hi, my question is for both Virat and Ravi, sir. I just wanted to ask the likes of Jinkar Rahane, Ishan Sharma, and Umesh Yadav have already said that the World Test Championship final is equivalent to playing the World Cup final. Do you feel the same, or does adding such tags increase the pressure?
See, it's the first time that you have a Test Championship final. So,
recording in progress.
When you look at that and the magnitude of the game that's going to be played, I think this is the biggest. If not the biggest ever, because it's the toughest form of the game. It's a format that tests you. It's not happened over 3 days or 3 months. It's happened over 2 years, where teams have played each other around the world and earned their stripes to play the final. So it's one heck of an event. This.
Yeah, I agree with the same. I think this holds a lot of value, especially this being the first of its kind, and in the toughest format, as Ravi mentioned. All of us take a lot of pride in playing Test cricket, and the way we have progressed as a side is an example of what Test cricket means to us. So for all of us as a unit, those who have been part of the Test side for many years, this is like an accumulation of all the hard work of not just the duration of the championship, but of the last 5-6 years since the time we started really coming up the ranks and building as a side, and we're just very, very happy to have the opportunity to play the finals.
Do you think it's a bit of a tad lopsided, this preparation going into the final? New Zealand's there, it's going to be playing 2 test matches against England. They'll have more time to acclimatize, whereas the Indian team won't have that kind of liberty or that kind of option to even have a practice game or as such. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I look, in the past we have landed in places 3 days prior, even in a proper schedule, and have had hell of a series and hell of competition. So I think it's all in the head. If it's how you look at the situation currently. It's not the first time you're playing in England. We all know what the conditions are like. And even if you're used to the conditions, if you don't enter the field in the right frame of mind, you're going to nick that first ball, or you're going to find it tough to pick wickets. So I think the hunger and the desire to be there and play the finals, we don't have any issues even with 4 practice sessions heading into the game, because we are absolutely sure of what we can do as a team. And we all have played in England. We all have played in England before this as well, whether it's with the Indian team or India A as well, for the likes of Siraj and them. They've all had experience there in the conditions, so we are not bothered by that at all. And we just want to get there and make the most of the opportunity at hand.
Amol, yes, hi. I would like to ask either or both, whatever. It's all but certain now that there will be 2 India spots in 2 different countries at the same time. Coach, do you see it as a one-off, or do you, with the kind of dynamics involved in the evolution of cricket, do you think it will be a more frequent affair, and how challenging does it become from a planning perspective?
Well, you never know. At the moment, it's happening because of the current situations and restriction in travel and things of that sort. But you never know. In the future, if you want to expand the game, especially in the shorter formats of the game, then it could be the way to go. Why not? When you have that much volume of cricketers, and if you want to spread the T20 game across the globe, then that could be the way ahead. Because if you're talking of Olympics in 4 years or 8 years' time, then you need more countries to play the game. So that could be a way forward.
Hi, this is directed at both of you. I think you and England are right now the only teams who have packed schedules. For India, that means time in England now with the WTC and the bilateral, followed by the IPL, followed by the World Cup. So I wanted to know, both from a captain and a coach's perspective, what the challenges are in terms of workload, because Indian cricket has been big on maintaining workload. And of course, what have you offered to the team in terms of mental balance through this phase?
Okay. Well, I'll probably touch upon that a little more and elaborate that answer. Taking on from the previous question that was asked to Ravi Bhai about 2 squads in different places. With the current structure and the kind of structure that we are competing inside, it's, to be very honest, for a long period of time, it's very difficult for the players to stay motivated and find the right kind of mental space, just confined in one area and just doing the stuff day in, day out and, dealing with high pressure situations. So this will definitely become a norm of the future where apart from the workloads, I think the mental health side of things will also come into the picture big time because you don't have an outlet at all in today's day and age. You're literally going to the ground, coming back to the room, and you have no space where you can just disconnect from the game and just go out for a walk or go out for a meal or a coffee and say, okay, let me refresh myself. Let me just get away from the game a little bit. So I think this is a huge factor which should not be neglected because as much hard work as we've done to create this team, you don't want players falling out because of the mental pressures and not having the capacity or the space to express themselves. So I think there has to always be that channel open, which the management has left it open for players to approach them and tell them, look, I'm not feeling right in the head and I just need a little break and I just want to disconnect from the game. So I think that's going to be a huge factor and I'm sure Ravi and the management feels the same.
And you'll see it during the Test series. When you, I'm not talking of the World Test Championship, but if you want to add that as well, when you have to play 5 Test matches in this environment in 6 weeks, it's no joke. I mean, even the fittest will need a break. More than the physical part, it's the mental part. Like Virat mentioned, you can be destroyed mentally. Being asked to do the same things day in, day out, and then go and perform. And it's not easy to recover, especially if you've had a bad day. So, it's important that you shuffle the guys around and keep them mentally fresh. This is not the physical part of it. It's keep them mentally fresh because of the circumstances prevailing.
Basically, the conditions for the World Test Championship final will be similar to what New Zealand is used to at home. And they can be really tough in those conditions. So what were the lessons learned from the last tour of New Zealand?
I think play better Test cricket. That's all. Conditions are as potent for New Zealand as they are for us. Australian conditions should have favoured Australia, but we beat them twice in 2 series. So it's how you look at the situation. If you want us to board the flight from here feeling like New Zealand's got the edge, then there's no point taking that flight. We are going to board that flight knowing that we are at equal terms and whichever team performs well session by session, hour by hour is going to win that championship and we have no doubts on that.
Final one now, Ravish Bish.
Hi Virat, Ravish this side from News Nation. विराट मेरा सवाल ये है कि 2017 चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी, 2019 वर्ल्ड कप एंड इंग्लैंड में एक और बड़ी चैंपियनशिप यानी कि आईसीसी वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप, कितना बड़ा चैलेंज आप इसको अपने लिए देख रहे हैं? इलैबोरेट करें थोड़ा सा टीम के पर्सपेक्टिव से भी।
मेरे लिए तो कोई चैलेंज नहीं है। टीम के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से काफी चैलेंजिंग समय रहा है हमारे लिए। अभी तो हमारा एंजॉय करने का टाइम है। एक मैच हमने 5-6 साल जो मेहनत करी है, जैसे मैंने बोला, उसको एंजॉय करने का समय है अभी। तो हमारा देखने का नजरिया काफी अलग रहता है जैसे लोग सोचते हैं बाहर उससे। अगर हम लोगों की तरह सोचेंगे तो परफॉर्मेंस नहीं हो पाएगा। तो मेरे ऊपर तो कोई प्रेशर नहीं है क्योंकि मैं इस पोजीशन में जहाँ पे मुझे रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दी गई है, ना मैं किसी मोटिव की वजह से, ना मैं किसी दूसरे रीजन की वजह से इस रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को निभा रहा हूँ। मैं सिर्फ इंडियन क्रिकेट को आगे ले जाने के लिए कमिटेड हूँ, जो मैं रहूंगा जब तक मैं ये गेम खेलूंगा। तो मेरे ऊपर ना तो कभी पहले प्रेशर रहा है और ना आगे रहेगा, क्योंकि जब तक मैं 100% कमिटेड हूँ टीम के लिए और अपने टीममेट्स की हेल्प कर रहा हूँ, वो एक दूसरे की हेल्प कर रहे हैं, सिर्फ यही चीज़ हमारे लिए मैटर करती है। और ये हमारा जो फाइनल है उसे एंजॉय करने का समय।
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.